Hello everyone, this is grade 6, module 2, lesson 14 problem set. The directions state, convert decimal division expressions to fractional division expressions to create whole number divisors. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to write this as a fraction, because remember, division problems can be written as fractions. So 35 and 7/10 divided by 7/100. So in order for me to get that divisor into a whole number, I see that I have tenths, hundredths. So I have to multiply this bottom number by 100. What that'll do is it'll turn it into a 7. So whatever I do to my divisor, I have to do to my dividend in order to keep them equal or keep this problem equal. So I'm multiplying 35 and 7/10 by 100. And what it's really doing is shifting all the digits 2 places to the left on the place value chart. And before we used to say, well, let's jump the decimal point over 2 places. Well, the decimal point's not moving, the digits are moving to the left on the place value chart. And that will get us 3,570. Now that I have that, I can divide these out. I can say 3,570 divided by 7 using my division algorithm. And it's much easier to do that than to keep it in decimal form. So I'm going to end up with 510. And I'm noticing that in the directions I don't have to solve this, but I wanted to solve this out to show you that once we get it changed, it's still going to be the same answer, and it makes it a little bit easier to manage. So when we look through this, I'll do a couple of these. I'll probably go to 2, then 4 and 5. And we're just going to set them up. So for 2, I'll do this one in blue. That was 1. We have 486 and 12/100 divided by 6/10. Now again, it's about getting the divisor to a whole number, not necessarily the dividend, the top number. We just want to make sure that outside number is a whole number. So if this is tenths, I know if I multiply it by 10, it'll jump it, the number one place on the place value chart, which will get it over to a whole number of 6. And if I multiply by 10, I have to multiply by 10 because, again, 10 over 10 is 1. Just like 100 over 100 is 1, which means we're not changing the value of the problem because anything times 1 is itself. So now when I multiply 486 and 12/100 by 10, it's moving one place to the left on the place value chart. So 4,861 and 2/10. And then I could solve that out because now I have a whole number in my divisor. We'll go to 4. 5,418 and 54/100 divided by 9/1000. So again, I have thousandths. 1, 2, 3. That means I'm going to multiply by 1,000. And a good way to do that is saying the place value out, but also looking, it's 3 places, and there are my 3 zeros for my places too, for place value. So now I have to multiply by 1,000 on top. And that looks like 11,000 because I dragged my marker. So 1,000 over 1,000 is 1, so I'm not changing the value. But now it's 3 places. So 9/1000 times 1,000 gets me 9. And all of this on my top, my dividend, is going to jump 3 place value places to the left. So I'm still going to have the 5,418, and it's going to change, obviously. The 5 and the 4 are 2 places. I have to add my third as 0. So what I end up with is 5,418,540 divided by 9. And that's 3 places. And again, what we used to do was we would jump the decimal over 3, but the decimal doesn't move within a number. The numbers move around the decimal. So when we multiply by 1,000, we're not moving the decimal place over 3. What we're doing is we are moving the digits, so all of these digits, this direction on the place value chart 3 places. So there's 4. Let's take a look at one more, and then we'll move to the bottom. And I'll do this last one in purple, and this is 5. And it's 812 and 5/10 divided by 1 and 25 hundredths. So when I look at my divisor again, because that's my focus, I see that we're 25 hundredths. So I'm going to multiply by 100. 2 places in the decimal, 2 zeros and 100, but really it's about the place value of it. The hundredths, 100. And if I multiply 1 by 100, then I have to multiply the other because I have to be multiplying by a fraction equivalent to 1. So I don't change the problem. So now I get 125. And if I multiply 812 and 5/10 by 100, all 4 of these digits are going to move 2 places in the place value chart to the left. So if they jump to the left, the 5 would be in the ones, and then the 5 would be in the tens. So 8, 1, 2, 5, that's the tens place. I need a 0 there to be in the ones place. And again, we used to say if we're multiplying by 100, 1, 2, 100, 1, 2, and then we could add our 0 for a placeholder. That's easier, but we're not moving the decimal place. We're moving the digits. So the digits are moving to the left 2 places. So we end up with 81,250 divided by 125. So that's the top part. Down at the bottom, we see it says estimate quotients, convert decimal division expressions to fractional division expressions to create whole divisors, compute the quotients using division algorithm, check your work with a calculator and your estimates. Okay, so we got a lot to do here. I'm going to pick out a couple of these to do. I'll start in with 8. And then we can work through 1 or 2 of the word problems. So with 8, it says divide 994 and 1400ths divided by 18 and 9/10. So the first thing I want to do is estimate this. And when I estimate this, I'll take this 994 and put it to 1,000. And I'm going to take this 18 and 9/10. It's very close to 20 because remember we want to try to get to a multiple of 10. So when I set this up, I can take off a 0 by dividing by 10. I do the same thing here. 2 goes into 100 50 times. So that's my estimate. And it's just getting me an easy calculation with a 1-digit divisor. Now, I'm going to take my problem and I'm going to try to get my divisor, my bottom number, into a whole number. I see it's tenths, so I'm going to multiply by tenths. 10 tenths. Because 10 tenths makes it 1 whole. So now I'm left with 189 on the bottom, and all of these digits shift 1 place to the left, meaning the 1 is now going to be in the ones place. So 9,941 and 4/10. Notice that the digits 99414 are still in the same order, they're just moving places on the place value chart. So there's my problem that I would then divide out. And if I divide that out, I would get 52 and 6/10, and I can check that on a calculator as well. So I'm not going to show the division piece of this. I want to show more of the setup with the fractional piece, getting them from decimals into the divisor as a whole number. That's what really I'm concerned with, because the last 2 lessons we spent practicing the multi-digit division. So let's go to 10. And I'll have to do this one off to the side. Mammy saved $161.25. This is 25% of the amount she needs to save. How much money does Mammy need to save? So if it's 25% of what she needs to save, then I know that I have to do 161 and 25 hundredths divided by decimal 25 hundredths, because I can't leave it as a percent. I got to make it as a ratio, which is 25 out of 100, because all percents are out of 100, and then that can be turned into my decimal of this. So now we'll go off to the side to do this one, and I'm already seeing that there's probably an easier way to do this, to answer this particular type of question, and we'll talk about that one too. So now if I want to change this into a whole number, I have tenths and hundredths, so I need to multiply by 100. And I'm working with hundredths, so 100 hundredths, because that equals 1. So I'm left with 25. And these are going to move, all these digits are going to move 2 places to the left, which means I have 16,125 divided by 25. For my actual estimation on this one, what I would end up doing is, now I can estimate this. Once I've got it to where I have whole number divisor, I can now estimate. So 25, I'm going to go to 20 with that one, because I see 16,125 can round to 16,000. I want to stay at 20 because I have a choice when I'm at the 5 for estimating, not for rounding, for estimating. I want to keep it at 20 because I know 2 can go into 16. So I'm dividing by 10 here by getting rid of my zeros, and I'm left with 16 divided by 2, which is 8, with 2 zeros after it. So my estimate is 800. I know it's going to be close, but not very close, because I'm at 25, which is in between 2 groups of 10, or 2 multiples of 10. So now what I would end up doing is taking 16,125 and dividing it by 25. And that's how I'm going to end up with my answer for it. And for this one, I'll actually do the work for it. I know it goes in 6, because 6 quarters is 150 or $1.50. To go into 112, I would then do 4 to get 100. And then I have 125, which is 5. So we're looking at 645 for an answer of that. That one I don't mind doing. So she needs to save $625 or $645. Now, when I first read that question, I immediately saw a multiplication problem. I saw $161.25, and it was 25%, meaning it's a quarter. So we need to multiply that by 4. And you're still going to get the same answer of 645, but we want to look at this as a division problem, so then we can make them that divisor a whole number. So that's why I went that route with it. If I were just solving to solve, we could have done 161 and 2500ths times 4. And got the same answer. Let's take a look at one more, and we'll do setup for it because I don't want this video to run too long. Let's look at 12. So we'll bring 12 down here. Jared is making candles from beeswax. He has 132 and 72 hundredths ounces of beeswax. If each candle uses 8 and 4/10 ounces of beeswax, how many candles can he make? And then how much will he have left over? Or will there be any left over? So the first thing we want to do is get this set up into a fraction, and I know my divisor is the one I'm focusing on. It's tenths, so I'm multiplying by 10/10, and that's going to shift everything in my numbers over one place value placed to the left. So I'm left with 84 on the bottom, and I have 1,327 and 2/10. Now, if I want to estimate this one, it gets a little tricky because I want the 84 to be 80. And I'm trying to figure out something that 8 can kind of go into. So we can't use 1,300 because I know that 8 can't go into that. But I know it can go into 1,200. So I'm going to end up doing that, and then I can divide by 10, and I would just do 8 goes into 120. So my estimate would be 15, and I know that I'm just doing this very quickly because I want to make sure I get this partial problem in. And then what you'll end up doing is dividing out this actual. So you do 1,327 and 2/10 divided by 84. And we'll see that it'll be somewhat close to the quotient. It's actually very close to the quotient. The quotient for this one, once you solve it out, should end up with about 15 and 8/10. That's after you show your work. So I hope this helps. Good luck on the rest of your problem set, and thanks for watching.